Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. I'm here today as a European because my heart is tied tightly to Europe through my history and where I live, it's what I feel. But I also stand here today in my role representing the global mobile industry. It's an industry I'm very proud of. It has 30 plus years of history and it has a central place in all of our lives. But as a European, I am disappointed. It does sound dramatic, but it is not an exaggeration. I'm disappointed because while others competed and raced ahead, Europe was somehow distracted and has been standing still. Today's world is moving fast, but Europe has stood still while the US, China, and other parts of the world do run faster today. And how is this possible? Because EU Telecom's leadership began here. This is the group of state employees from across Europe, some of them were my bosses, or have been my bosses over the years, who created the GSM standard in 1987. And that led to the very first GSM call in June 1991. This group had hoped, in their wildest dreams, that eventually 10% of the world would have a 1G phone. And they moved at rapid speed, intent on building a technology that would leave its mark and be harmonized across the world. And so today, thanks to their efforts in particular, 5.8 billion people are using a mobile phone around the world. And that's a win for Europe. But Europe is not winning anymore. And it's not for lack of analysis, because Europe's strangulation has been much analyzed. Other regions are innovating, growing, and giving their economies and citizens all the benefits of high-speed connectivity. But Europe is lagging behind. Let me show you. You can see here that Europe is trailing far behind the US and China. We're forging ahead. In the US, 3 players have raised 5G coverage to 98% and lowered consumer prices by 12%. And their market valuations are indeed very high, which investors love, and that brings in extra capital to invest. But Europe has a different story to tell. In the last 10 years, operators have invested hundreds of billions of their own funds into networks, particularly on 5G rollout. But it simply hasn't been enough to keep up with the growing traffic demands. The EU itself recognizes that at least 200 billion euros more are needed to make our networks fit for today. And that's a modest estimate without considering what the cost could be for future-proofing and for security needs. So it's simple. European operators have less ability to invest because they don't have scale. Today, nearly 100 operators are serving customers across 27 member states. So that's an operator to population ratio of about 6 or 7 million customers. Of course, each operator doesn't have equal market share, but these numbers at one level do give you a sense of the question. Here in Denmark, we have 4 main MNOs and a high number of MVNOs sharing a market of just 5.4 million unique mobile subscribers. In the US, it's about 130, in India, 270 million, and in China, 450 million. There must be something behind these numbers. But unsurprisingly, the market value of the sector has decreased over the past decade, leading operators to divest, sell assets, and exit countries in this quest for scale. Mario Draghi's report states that the total market capitalization of the EU's telecom sector fell by 41% from 2015 to 2023 to reach 270 billion euros, compared to over 650 billion for US telecom operators. So there is something in this data that is quite clear, that the opportunity to scale in Europe would indeed open a completely different world for us. Consolidation brings scale, and scale is king. Ideas and innovation go nowhere without scale, and without scale you have less power for driving investment. This is now recognized far and wide. There was the Mario Draghi's report, Enrico Letta's report. Europe's global competitiveness can only be resurrected with best-in-class digital infrastructure and services, and also by lifting the overregulation and structural issues that are strangling investment, innovation, and productivity. There's no more time for analysis. I think we have a lot of the data that we need. It's staring us in the face. In taking up the presidency of the European Union and the preparation of the upcoming Digital Networks Act, Denmark has a historical responsibility to allow the mobile industry to boost economic growth and resilience in Europe, to deliver better value to Europe's customers, and to get back out there to compete globally, shaking off digital dependency on other regions. So this is the moment to line up Europe for its well-deserved world-leading status. Take the case of AI, which is top of mind for all business leaders right now. AI needs all the capabilities invested in the mobile networks, in particular in 5G. As AI technology is released across the ecosystem, which is happening at lightning speed, we need networks that are ready for the integration of AI. AI depends on telco, and telco needs to be ready with 5G running at its full potential as it was designed, which means network slicing, low latency, and possibly even mobile edge computing to support the development of AI. I have no doubt that mobile operators can deliver what is required for the future of Europe with a single market, with competition policy reform and merger regulation reform, a reduction in the regulatory burden, less uncertainties in the investment environment, and overall fairness. Europe has created many of the technologies that have connected the planet, from the GSM standard that led to the first GSM call to the World Wide Web itself. Europe has the mindset, the history, the networks, and the people. And we won't be able to uphold Europe's values without a strong infrastructure and strong infrastructure players across Europe. As a European, I believe we can get back to winning the game. This is an opportunity now before the Danish presidency, and we need to be fast as the game is underway. Europe deserves this chance. It's up to the task, and so we need to make sure it wins again. Thank you very much for your attention.